Welcome to Rick's Corner. I have a friend of mine on today. He's been a friend of mine for a long, long time. He's got a long history. Football, wrestling, bodybuilding, weightlifting, you name it, he's done. He's an actor and he works all the time. The guy has more commercials than I have shoes, and several running right now. But it's my pleasure to have Paul Vinson here. Paul, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure of mine. It's my pleasure.
I know we had to get you away from certain parts of LA and San Diego because you're a busy man. You're doing movies and commercials and you're all over town. And I had to book this like years in advance just to get you here for 20 minutes.
Yeah, buddy, I appreciate it. I'll take my time out and do anything for this, man.
I appreciate it. All right, so let's start back a little bit. You as you were a younger kid, you went into football?
Well, I started off with wrestling. Wrestling was my very first sport, but I was kind of a troubled kid growing up. I got into a lot of trouble, ran away from home a lot, got kicked out of junior high and had to go to a different junior high. And I remember my 7th grade year, the wrestling coach caught me in the hallway, and he goes, "Hey, Vinson," he goes, "why don't you turn off for the wrestling team and put all that anger into something good?" And I was like, "Wrestling, man, come on." I like just being, stupid and crazy.
Yeah.
But he told me, he goes, "Well, we're wrestling Pioneer next week." And Pioneer is the one that kicked me out, and I had to go to a junior high called Drasin. So I told him, I said, "You're wrestling Pioneer next week?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Yeah, I want to be on the team." So I turned out as practice that week, wrestled that week, and then I got to wrestle the guy from Pioneer. And man, I had some aggression to take out on that poor boy, and I did. And then I just fell in love with the sport, and then I've been wrestling ever since.
Well, you went to the WCW camp.
I did. I was out of power plant when I wrestled for the United States World Team. I made the World Team in '99, and then I went out to Romania and actually took 4th in the world at the World Championships. And when I got back, I had a sports agent in San Diego called Jack Becca. And he's contacted McMahon out of WWE, at the time was WWE, and then WCW, Paul Orndorff. Ed told my agent that he would bring me in if I came back with a gold medal following the success of Kurt Angle, who I happen to know. And I didn't take a gold medal, but Paul Orndorff says, "I don't care what he comes back with, we'll take a look at him." And so they invited me out, I went out, we signed. And I was out there just a small, short time. I hated it.
Did you?
Oh, my God. I'll tell you, it was just like...
It's not like people think.
Oh, my God, not even close. I remember one of the wrestlers told me, they go, "Do you like standing around?" Mm-hmm. And I go, "No." And he goes, "Well, then you're not going to like it here." Because there was a lot of standing around, a lot of yelling, and, "Get your fucking ass over here." You're always the first one there. You're always the last one to leave. Everybody had a key.
It's like the military.
Yeah, and they expect you to be there. They expect you to be there on your days off, which were the weekends. And the thing about, wrestling, and people don't understand, there's a lot behind the scenes of just not going out there and you see the show and everything. But,
right.
there's when you're starting out in that sport, it's not fun at all. You're in that school for a year. And...
a lot of politics.
And if you get hurt, you're signed, there's a minimum and a maximum of what you're going to get per week as a wrestler there starting out. And then if you get hurt, your pay automatically goes in half. But they still expect you to be at the school every day watching and learning, even while you're injured. So if you're in a cast or whatever, you still got to be there. But your pay goes in half. And you can't have a second job because the practices are from like 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening, and they expect you to go to the gym.
Oh yeah, I know.
After that, what's great is Goldberg had a gym out there in Atlanta, which was close to where the power plant was, and of course Bill letting all the WCW guys train at his gym, so we got to train over at.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deep in this subject, but you were telling me at your high school reunion that the people said that you were the most likely to end up in prison.
I was most likely to go to prison or dead.
Okay, and so I don't want to get too deep into it, but you definitely didn't disappoint them.
No, I did not. I damn near died a few times, and I definitely went to prison.
All right, so you're a different person today, though, than you were back then.
Oh my God, yeah.
You've been training. You train 6 days a week.
I'm in the gym almost every day.
Your diet is pretty much good.
I'm a seafood eater. I see it and I eat it.
Yeah.
I really don't. As long as I train hard, I really don't have to watch my weight, and I think that has a lot to do with genetics. I mean, let's face it, without genetics, that separates a great athlete from a good athlete.
Right,
it's not about drugs or anything like that.
For you guys who need motivation and you complain about going to the gym, you have a cold, or you don't feel good, or you don't feel like training today, whatever. Paul's been through the mill. Now he was on dialysis for his kidneys for how long?
6 years.
6 years. How many days a week?
That was 3 days a week for 5 hours because I was so big. When I went on dialysis, I was 245 pounds.
Yeah.
And then when they first did the surgery and put the stent in my arm, I went down to 220 just like that because of the water weight that I was holding, and that they sucked me down. But
the stent in your arm looked like a garden hose.
Oh, it was huge.
It came up and went around. It looked like you had a hose or a big vein underneath his skin. But the point I want to make is about this man, and I love him. I really do. This man always has a smile on his face. He always has a good attitude, and nothing gets him down. All that dialysis and all this shit he went through for 7 years, you still went to the gym. Yeah, I was in the gym every day. My wife left me 2 months after I went on dialysis. My wife left me with our daughter. It was some tough times, but I always thought somebody else was worse off than I was. Yeah.
And so nobody wants to hear about somebody's complaining, but I'll tell you what. I mean, I was still feeling good about myself. I mean, I was still that's just life. It's going to throw you some curveballs.
I remember when you dropped a lot of weight and you were worried about, oh, I'm too skinny, I'm too skinny, I'm too skinny. But then you put it right back on.
Yeah. I feel like Humpty Dumpty because you go through the cycle of dialysis, and then you get the transplant, and then a coma a year later, and then a jet ski a year left. I mean, it was just rebuilding myself.
Right. You passed out in the hospital, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they overdrugged me on pain medication. I went in for surgery on the shoulder, and they ended up over medicating me, and they called a code gray on me, which is violence. Cause I ended up putting a nurse in the emergency room that night. But I was just so over medicated that I just literally went out of my mind and hallucinated. So they had to put me in a seduced coma, I guess is what they call it. I'm not really sure. I don't know medical.
Well, all right. So you waited a long, long time for a kidney transplant.
6 years. Oh my God.
And it was like wait and wait and wait.
Yeah.
So basically, you had to go out and kill somebody to get their kidney. I'm kidding.
Well, basically, I was getting to those thoughts, no doubt about it.
I know. You were at your wit's end with that thing. Then you got your kidney.
I did get my kidney.
And this is another ordeal.
Oh my God. I remember being in the hospital with the transplant. And I remember I think it was 3 or 4 days after the transplant, but I had hoses just about in every hole in my body.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at that nurse and just telling her, and I'm so miserable. I just remember telling that nurse, God, I know in a couple of months I'm going to regret this, but I almost wish I wouldn't have had the transplant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how miserable it was. But now, I mean, I was in the hospital for about 2 months. When I got out, it didn't dawn on me how good it was until I didn't have to get up the next morning for dialysis.
Yeah.
And then the other day, and then the following time when I had to go to dialysis, I didn't have to get up again because I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting hooked up at 4:30, and I was getting off at 9:30.
Yeah. And then you said the very next day you felt really lousy.
Oh my God! There's a small window of when you actually feel good, because after dialysis, they think it's they call it like running a marathon. You're that tired.
The thing is, he trained every day.
I did.
And we would meet for coffee in the morning at Starbucks, and the man always had a smile. There was never a downtime or a bad side to him. It was always like this, and I so admire that in somebody, because there's so many people who cry the blues over nothing.
That's it.
Yeah. And then so now once you got yourself back on track and you were training, we talked about taking certain chemicals in order to heal quicker, and you went on GH.
I did. I went on growth hormone. I went on testosterone. Well, the first thing the doctors actually put me on was testosterone, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And that was to rebuild the muscle tissue that I lost, because I went down from 220. When I went in for the transplant, I remember training really hard the night before I left in the morning, because I knew it was going to be a while.
You got to get that last workout in.
Yeah,
it's like taking your last shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Work out and take a big shit, and then I'm good to go.
Yeah, because you knew it was going to be a while before you got to train again. So I mean, I went in there just to, because I love to do power stuff. So I went in there and really trained hard. And then I went in at 220, but a month and a half to 2 months later, after I came out of the hospital, I was 160.
I remember that.
God dang, I didn't even recognize myself.
Yeah, I didn't either. I saw you at Starbucks, and that guy looks like he used to be Paul.
It's amazing how when you drop 40, 50, 60 pounds, how different you look.
I know.
Because, you know, even when you're in shape.
But it makes your schwanz look bigger.
Yeah.
Surrounding tissue, you know?
Yeah.
So you got back in training, and you started doing the test and the GH, and the doctor put you on, and it helped.
Oh my God, it helped a lot. I mean, I can't imagine any man 40 years old or above that doesn't take testosterone. And if you don't, you should look into it. Only because you got to, you know, testosterone is a natural hormone that is produced in the body. And as you get older, obviously the body starts to shut it down and it doesn't make any more.
I've said this many times.
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine being over 40 years old and not being on testosterone.
All right, so he's been through a kidney. You had a heart issue.
I had a heart issue. Yeah.
You had the shoulder surgery. Comas. You had a ski accident.
The jet ski accident where I got T-boned on a jet ski by another jet ski at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah. And he's here to talk about it, and he's in great shape. And you're still training heavy now.
I'm still training. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm getting back to my deadlift. I just deadlifted 375 the other day.
That's good.
And my bench is coming back. I mean, my bench is 275 right now. You know, I still got a ways to go, but hey, you know, I'm 57 years old, and I see nothing but I'm still gaining. I'm still getting back.
Yeah.
And there's no
end to it.
There's no slowing down.
We met, I don't know how many years ago, it was several years ago on an audition. Came with his wife or girlfriend at the time. He sat way at the end of the hallway by himself, putting on his wrestling tights. We're all at the other end, and he didn't talk to anybody. And I went over and talked to him because I knew this guy was a nice guy. And he just felt like, I don't know anybody. I don't know who to talk to. And we became friends, and we've been friends ever since. We do a lot of the same auditions together. We did a Budweiser commercial together.
We did.
And he's hung in there. The man works hard. He gets out on auditions. He books great commercials. You have how many running right now?
I have 2 running. Well, actually, believe it or not, I have 3 running right now. I have a Progressive commercial running right now. I have the Keurig coffee machine. Right. And then glasses.com.
Yeah.
So we have 3 that are running now. So yeah, I mean, life's good.
One of the things several years ago he went up for was Bissell vacuum cleaners. I went, and Hardboiled Haggerty, who's now deceased, went for it. And Haggerty was a wrestler for years. He was in his 70s at the time, and he brought his headshot when he was 30 years old. He said, "Look, Rick, I used the same headshot for 40 years. He didn't look any different." So he got down to the fire and wire, and so did I. And Paul's voice makes him a lot of money. This voice, I thought, did he really talk like this?
Yeah, ever since I was 6 years old. Right. It's just the way it is.
And so because of that, you've had voiceovers. You got the Bissell, and the Bissell was a good commercial.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
It was a den of bikers, right?
It was.
And they're cleaning up your clubhouse.
Right, exactly. I'd love to keep a clean club, but the boys get a little rambunctious sometimes. So I got myself this new Bissell Pro Heat Protect Beauty.
Well, you got that down.
Oh, yeah.
And on the Keurig, you're asking for what, a latte?
Yeah, I'm asking, I'd love not a latte, but a herbal tea.
Herbal tea, that's right. So you guys watch for him on TV.
Dying for herbal tea.
So your future plans, in closing, is you'll continue to train like you do.
Yes.
Put more size on.
More size. My goal is to get back to 220. I want to deadlift 4 plates each side, and I want to bench 3 plates each side. And you know, those are small goals, but I'm setting myself up for success and not failure. And that's one thing. You know, when you set your goals, you know, don't set them too high to where it's gonna take forever, and then you get discouraged. But you set them to where you can make them.
Right.
And then you set another one. There's nothing wrong with setting a goal and then reaching it and then setting another one. I mean, some guys go in there and they think they shoot for the moon right off the bat.
Can't do it.
God, that's not realistic.
It's like people that call me and they want to be a WWE superstar. I said, how about doing indie shows first? You know, start small, do a couple shows, and learn to see if you even like it.
Yeah.
You're getting out on a lot of stuff commercially and film-wise right now?
We are. As a matter of fact, I have a movie coming out. As a matter of fact, I shot that with a good friend of yours. Is it Tyler?
Oh, Tyler Maine.
Yeah, Tyler Maine. Yeah. Shot it with Tyler Maine. It's called Prey. That should be out. Hopefully, it's going to be out maybe after Christmas, I hope.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, God, life's good. Anytime you're above ground, life is, I mean, how can you not think life is great?
Well, if you had one thing to advise these younger guys about training or their life or what they're doing, what would it be?
You know, keep the attitude up. Don't get down. Don't sweat the small stuff. There's so many other big. I remember one time I was on dialysis and I was in the gym and I was sick and I was feeling bad, and I grabbed my bag and I turned around to walk out, and right behind me on the lap machine was a guy in a wheelchair. And I just told myself, get your ass back in that gym, and you turn around and you work out. And sure enough, that's exactly what I did. You know, that's the kind of attitude you have to have. Is just remember, there's somebody out there worse off than you.
Yeah.
You're not, so don't be crying that you're, pour me a river. Don't be feeling sorry for yourself. Pick your ass up and, make something of yourself. You hold the power. That's what I tell everybody. You hold the power in every situation that you're in. You can end it at any time. If you're in a bad relationship, you can end it at any time. If you have a lousy job, you can end it. You have the power. And people don't realize, oh, no, I have to do that. No, I have to be with her. No, you don't. You hold the power of your success.
There's another thing that, just in closing, that I see a lot of guys in the gym that want to be tough guys. They're always stronger, they're always tougher, and always got a chip on their shoulder. But I got to tell you, and you know this as well, we've been around, we've wrestled, we've fought, all this kind of stuff. There's always somebody stronger, and there's always somebody tougher. It's just the way life works. So don't always have that attitude because it doesn't work well.
No, I'll tell you what, I used to grow up thinking it was better to be feared than liked. But that is such the wrong way to look at life. I mean, it's way better to be liked and respected than it ever is to be feared. So respect comes from accomplishments and the way you treat people. They will treat you back the way you treat them.
And respect in the gym is very important.
Oh, my God. Gym etiquette, I mean, I can't tell you.
There's a lot of guys in my era, from the golden era, that we've been there and done that. We get a lot of respect from other people, but you always get some of these guys saying, well, what do you know? I know plenty.
Yeah.
You know what? You can learn from guys like us.
Yeah, the other thing is, when guys don't put their weights away or strip the bars down, that's part of your workout. Use that as part of your workout. Don't say, oh, I did my 5 reps and I'm done. No, man, stacking that weight and taking that and stripping the weight, that's part of your workout.
Exactly.
I mean, God, don't think of it as, I got to be a nice guy and put my shit away. No. That's part of your workout.
Yeah.
Use that.
Exactly.
People, they're always looking for shortcuts. And, when you cheat yourself. When you take shortcuts, that's just a shortcut of no success.
Exactly. Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Rick.
Yep.
I really do.
Thank you guys for watching. Paul's an awesome guy. I want to hear your comments and what you have to say, or any feedback if you have any questions. And if you want to, again, I'll have him back again. We see each other quite often. And I'll get him over here and we'll answer some more questions. Thanks for watching Rick's Corner. And stay tuned for more. I've got a lot more coming up. Like I promised you, it's going to get better and better and better.
All right.
It's RickDrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.